Okay, fellas, I know we complain quite a lot about many things, mainly racism when we go to Europe and any other country. We tend to point out a lot of things that we see and sometimes just, name it racism. Or they're treating me this way because it's racism. They're talking to me in an inappropriate way because it's racism. Or they won't stop me or they don't want to let me in because it's racism. I think sometimes we need to think and look at things differently. There's an aspect of things that we tend to forget. Let me put it this way for you. There is a specific group of people. I'm not going to name countries here just to avoid, shocking people. There is specific people from Africa. It's Eastern Africa. They're dark in skin. Okay, very dark in skin. You will see a lot of them in Kenya, in Uganda, in many countries. They go live there, because of the war that's happening in the country. Now, these people, most of the time when they go to these countries, they don't give them houses for rent. They have difficulties having houses for rent. Why? After I did some investigation, I was told that most of them, when they come to different countries, let's say in Uganda, they tend to be in a specific way, not very clean. When they leave the house, they will leave it in a way that it wasn't when they rented the house. Some of them even recorded incidents where they buried one of their brother in the house. Yeah, so one of their brothers passed away. Instead of going to the normal cemetery like everybody else, they buried the person in the house. And this is one incident among many. They are described to be violent. Yeah, it's never everybody, but a good portion. A lot of them are described to be in a certain way. Now, my question is, when many people have experienced very similar things, destruction of their goods, mismanagement of their houses, would you find it racist or some sort of way if people of that country, let's say Ugandans, refuse to accept those people in their houses? Would you say it's racist? I don't know. Because it's never everybody. People say, it's stereotypical. But when do people use the word stereotypical? Just remember one thing. People only use the word stereotypical because many of you guys have been recorded behaving in that particular way. Yes. So people don't necessarily start refusing you entry in a place just because they hate you. Yes, there are instances like that where people just blatantly hate you. But in many cases, it's because people of your type have deployed or displayed a certain behavior that's not acceptable by other people. And that is something we need to take accountability for whenever we call out on racism and things. Let me give you another example. I traveled myself in Southern Africa. I said Southern African country. There are many of them. I traveled to one country where I got to a traffic light and I saw a white lady in a car. She just wanted a windscreen up to block the passage between me and her. I was walking and as soon as I got next to her, like 2 meters, the windscreen went right up. The person I was with was like, this is racist. This is unbelievable. And I remember at the time, with the level of maturity that I had, I said, this is pure racism. I was very hurt. Like, how could she do this to me? And it wasn't the first time. I saw that a couple of times. Why did she wind up a screen? Why did she do that? Who does she think she is? Does she think I'm a thief? Does she think I'm violent? I went home with that and I slept with it. It was painful in my heart. Why? A while later, I was witnessing myself being mugged by people that look just like myself. Okay? So this white lady wound up a screen to avoid me at the time. I found it racist. But then I looked at myself living the same things and I looked at some of my friends being mugged by the same type of people that look like myself. Then I looked at the violence crime is mostly by people like myself. I looked at the crime of cash A stake, violent robberies, rape, and it was mostly people like myself. Now, was I right or wrong to say that she was racist? Was she wrong to try to wind up a screen because she was trying to protect herself? No. So I don't think it's right to say people are stereotypical. They don't like us. They are tribalistic. Maybe your tribe is very arrogant. Maybe your tribe is very violent. It's very easy to say, no, it's not all of us, but maybe many of you are violent. Maybe many of you, the easiest way to find solution is to fight. Blood is to spill somewhere. People are not stupid. They read. Yes, as much as I believe there is racism, there's tribalism, I do believe there are those facts, but I believe many more situations occur when people notice in a specific group of people a certain behavior that is not acceptable. Okay, I say it, I'm going to say it again. People are not obliged to just love everybody. It's not an obligation. You are obliged to respect people. You are obliged to tolerate their existence. You are obliged to see them and make sure they live in peace. That's are your obligations. But you're not obliged to let them in your house. We want to see people loving each other. We want to see people moving forward with one another. But if a specific group of people identify themselves doing a specific type of crime, are you obliged to accept them or else you are treated as racist and tribalistic? I don't know. We also know a group of people in Africa. Wherever they go, people don't seem to like them. Okay, they usually pushed away because they're usually involved with things that are not necessarily legal. And it comes a time, it becomes a real problem. You will see them with drugs, you will see them with illegal stuff, prostitution, pimping, and so many other things. Now, when you say those people act in a certain way, are you lying? Not you're not lying. You're not lying because many of them have displayed that type of behavior. It doesn't necessarily mean everybody do or everybody does it. It means a good portion of you people have shown this type of behavior. You are maybe a victim, okay? You may be one of those who don't do those things. You just happen to be part of the community where people do certain things that other people don't like. Now, do you have the right to say, don't treat me this way? You are racist. You are tribalistic. I don't think so. I think people of your kind have displayed a certain way of living. That's why I believe as much as where I come from and, people where I belong, I know they are not accepted for certain things. When those things occur, I know when to shut up because I understand. I'm just a victim. I'm just living the repercussion of things my fellow, countrymen have done. That's what life is about. So I don't think we should see racism everywhere. Some of the time, racism or whatever we call racism is due to some other people's experience, past experience. Now, should we blame them for having past experience? I don't know. If you have been violated, mugged, or attacked by a criminal in the past that was a male figure or a big guy, would you be wrong to be aware, to be cautious when you see somebody that looks exactly like him? I don't know. Would it be racist or tribalistic if you try to protect yourself from people that look like people that mugged you in the past? I don't know. What is the solution? The solution is if your community found itself in criminal activity, then work needs to be done within your community. If your community is a violent one, you shouldn't be angry when they say you people are violent. I don't think so. You don't have the right to say your people are violent. You may be not violent, but most of your people are violent. Yeah, that's what it is. I mean, do you have the right to choose who you want to marry? Certainly you do. Do other people have the right to say, okay, I don't want my daughter to marry this person? Does that make him tribalistic? I don't know. I think it is his choice. If he has experiences to back that up, if he has negative experiences, who are we to judge him? I don't think so. I think we need to stop being defensive, saying these people hate us. No, they don't necessarily hate you for nothing. If you look at it properly with neutral eyes, fair judgments, you most of the time will see, if you stable enough mentally, you most of the time will see why some people don't like you people. And that's where comes emotional intelligence. Look, every community has goods and flaws and negative things. All of us have good things and negative things. Now, you cannot go to other places and expect them to accept you the way you are. Like, accept me the way I am. No, it doesn't work that way. If you leave your place, you leave your country, you leave your province, you leave your tribe, you go to a different place, you need to accommodate yourself. You need to make space for other people. You need to make sure you conduct yourself in a way that other people would not feel uncomfortable around you, because you don't have the right to judge them and say, okay, you don't like me because I'm behaving in a poor manner. We must all remember what's acceptable in our community is not necessarily acceptable in other people's community. Yes, maybe in your community you eat some food that stinks. To you it doesn't. I'm sorry to say it that way. No, not all food is good, looks good and smells good. I'm sorry to say that. In your community, you eat your food, you don't see that it stinks because that's what you were brought up eating. That's what you've eaten your whole life. It doesn't mean you must go to some area, some places where people live in peace and start cooking your food that doesn't smell nice and expect people to love you despite of that. It doesn't work that way. And if they come and voice themselves saying we're uncomfortable, you start screaming all racism and tribalism and xenophobia. No, you need to fix yourself. Okay, my dad used to tell me, if you go to a village, you find people dancing to the left, you must dance to the left like them. You go somewhere, you find people dancing to the right, you should adjust yourself and learn how to dance to the right. You cannot go to other people's place and try to display your flaws and negativity, your own way of life. It's not acceptable. Once again, nobody's perfect. When they say you people are this way, it's never all of you people. But many of you people have displayed that behavior, whether it's violence, crime, drugs, disrespect, insult. Some countries, they just know how to insult. It's not all of you. It means most of you. Okay? And you can't say it's stereotypical. No, stereotypical is just a way to run away from the real problem. The real issue is most of you most likely have behaved in a way that is not appropriate. So like I said before, it's very easy to accept that your group of people does good than to accept that your group of people does bad. I'm going to give you a very simple example. You go to some countries, we all know that. In many African countries, there are always like a group of people, like a tribe that's very involved with money. They always lack making money. They always do good with business. They're all money-savvy tribes. Most of the time, you see them. I don't know, maybe it doesn't exist in your country, but in most African countries, you'll find such tribes. And whenever you speak to those people, saying these people they do good with money. They go, yeah, we are very clever with money. We do great with money. These people are good entrepreneurs. Yes, we love that. We're good. They will accept that with no issue. But whenever you say you people are doing bad, you are within criminality and negativity. Oh no, don't generalize. Don't do that. How can you say that? Curiously, they never use the same energy when you say good about them. So when you say you guys are good entrepreneurs, they go, yeah, yes, we are. But when you say you guys are criminals too, they say, no, don't generalize. Doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense. So I believe the same energy you should use when it comes to compliment within your group of people, your tribe, your country, whatever it is, you should have the same energy accepting criticism. Yes, with the same lens. Let me know how you think, what you think about this. It's always a pleasure to hear what you have to say. And if you want to help us grow this community, let's do it together. It's always so much pleasure. Zack Mwekassa is my name. God bless.